Greetings and welcome to my dear Caps out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. This is a reading for the energy of Capricorn. The 10th house is open and the mystery of the 4 and the 10 axis is accessible through this reading. As we approach the Great Mirror, we will be dealing with someone in terms of an activation of the 4 and the 10. And for Capricorns, this means that you might see someone who sort of is communicative, but in such a way that it is geared around the inner world, meaning that their communications, it comes from a space of essentially friendliness. At the same time, it's dualistic in nature, it's binary thinking, it's trying to sort of moralize or perhaps have a moral compass that is based on their own inner reserve, okay? And what it's moving towards, this person, this significant other, usually for Capricorns from the 10th house, essentially it pushes forward to the 5th house, okay? Now, the interesting thing here is that this person, their inner world, essentially, it shifts. It motivates from the 3rd to the 5th houses. And there's an interesting dynamo that encapsulates both the romantic as well as the friendly spheres. And it crystallizes with an inner world that is very difficult to reach because of this oscillation, because of this movement from the 3rd to the 5th, okay? Excuse me. So their placements, usually the moon is very strong and around it is Mercury as well as the sun, okay? So take what you will of that little sort of synopsis. The Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order in order to see particular karmas. It's a 9-card spread. We'll go into this for the primary portion of the reading. My dear Capricorns, thank you and welcome to the channel. Firstly, I'd like to begin with a small reading that is based on karma for the month of January 2023 for the energy of Capricorn. Let's go ahead and get started. So for the month of January, there's going to be an interesting occurrence here. It's based on a choice. It's based on a choice from choosing the past or the future. Okay, I think what Capricorns will be sort of geared towards is essentially the 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay, 8 of Cups in reverse is a type of it's a type of an occurrence here that has to do with contentment. It has to do with sincerity, contentment, also reserve, trying to maintain a flow of some sort. Okay, whatever this flow pertains to, it could be your love life, could be your resources, could be essentially what fills your cup of desire, of love. Okay, of self-love, self-gratification. It's here. This also can do with families or legacies. This can do with pastimes, memories even. You are content. There's a sense of contentment here. There is no need to depart. At the same time, you're coming from a place that has to do with the 9 of Cups. Okay, and the 9 of Cups is indicative usually of indifference, egalitarianism, being able to be equal-minded, fair-minded, to be very reminiscent but not attached to many different things, okay, to many different memories, let's say, or to many different cups of fulfillment. And the ability here is essentially to be very content. There's like a self-contentment. This fills you essentially with the ace, with essentially the ability to feel, to empathize, to be at one with yourself and others, okay? This is a very good reading so far. Okay, so what is the difference? The difference is the Ace of Cups, and that's the past and the present. In terms of karma, essentially, you've gotten to a point of self-sustaining, of also not being greedy with it, with what your desires are, with what your wishes are, being very content. There's a sort of perfect contentment here. The thing is that you're going to take this ace and produce an effect. There's going to be some sort of new beginning here. This new beginning is something we're going to look into in terms of the Ace of Pentacles. But a choice is being made. This choice revolves around the end of a way of thinking in order so that you can bring organization to your most relevant projects, your most relevant commitments, your work especially, and working with others in general, your friendships. This also has to do with the idea that you could loosen intensity when it comes to trying to control or to push others to think a certain way. Okay, what this is leading to is a sense of development, of equal fairness with others, being able to equalize and harmonize with others. Perhaps this is the new beginning. At the same time, this could symbolize a new project, trying to hold back on certain things, and not leaving a place of position, holding or maintaining something so that your seeds will grow. Okay. Now we're going to look into this seed in particular and try to figure out what this Ace of Pentacles is about. And then we'll go into the Great Mirror. But first, let's look into this Ace of Pentacles. So this has to do with a period of time. A period of time where you put in sincere efforts to work hard, and essentially growth has occurred from it. It's as if you are naturally reaping what you have sown. At the same time, there's something about this commitment that has been limited in some way, shape, or form in terms of it being nourishing, in terms of it being endearing. Okay, that's what's missing. There are certain terms of endearment here that are missing when it comes to what is being gained from this new beginning. There also is something about the return to what was nurturing this all along. You might realize that your friends have played a very important role. Your friends, your associations, those you find joy in terms of relationships, have provided significant support when it comes to fertilizing and nourishing your projects, your commitments, your work. Okay. At the same time, this is leading to a point of complete and utter stillness. This new beginning encompasses almost a detached quality to it. It's as if you get what you deserve, but you feel very detached with what you have been earning. Okay. This is because there is a need to note that people have supported you, and these people you have to acknowledge in one way, shape, or form. This is what the reading is. So now we'll shift gears and access the 4th and the 10th house axis. Okay. And with this axis, there is a way of seeing Capricorn in that they are here to provide a system of evolutionary change in terms of intellectual thought, capacities, philosophies, and institutions that become commonplace, that become dreamlike, that become a crystallization of the natural flow of human evolutionary consciousness. Okay, and it crystallizes around the nexus of the 10th house. And as you present this, there's certain actions that Capricorns they're shy of doing, but they embody it, they physically embody it. So there's a self-reflective quality in which the externalization of Capricorn on its peak of mighty and endearing accomplishment that becomes seen on all sides, that becomes very, I'd hate to use the term woke, but that's the only term that comes to mind. There's an awakened quality to the triplicity of Earth and Capricorn being at its pinnacle, the 10th house, that it produces the crystallization of something quite great through the erosive qualities of the winds of time. Okay. Now, all that being said, we're going to go straight into the reading. And once again, the Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see particular karmas that exist between Capricorn and a significant other. Take only what you will. I do wish you well. Thank you. Fine. We have the Five of Rods defining the sort of connection. In terms of karma, the Five of Rods in reverse. This has to do with the breaking down of boundaries. Pardon. The interesting thing is that these are intellectual boundaries by nature. They're boundaries also designed to give Capricorn a sense of isolation and a sense of reprieve from the grueling agonies of a constantly incessant world. The path that Capricorn is on in the month of January, it moves away from this person. The funny thing is that this is a part of their harvest. It's a seed that they've sown while walking the path, but they haven't tended to it. It's something that was not intended. Let's just call it that. At the same time, there's something about this person that symbolizes perfect contentment, perfect contentment. And on a conscious level, there's something that unifies you two, even though you are in January on the path of isolation and self-exploration. Okay, inner world and innerness is definitely something that you will be embracing, especially with the Mercury retrograde season. And moving in through the month, there's a need to find knowledge, to find or access something that is based on practice, your own work, your own methodology, and perfecting it in some sort of way. Therefore, on a deeper level, something about this, it bodes the sort of lightning of Zeus and the need to honor Jupiter, but not being able to do so. Therefore, there's something of a tower element to this. It becomes imbalanced. Something collapses. A way of thinking collapses. A way of moralizing this compass or this situation collapses. And there is a need to refocus one's efforts onto oneself by embracing the auspices of Mercury, and also by trying to produce the effect of reserve. Okay. In this respect, both of you have this sort of conservative element. There is the Tower in reverse on their end in terms of a subconscious impression, in terms of karma, in terms of the sort of will to be when it comes to this situation. There's something about both of you that culminate to the Seven of Swords in the reverse. There is a need to revisit something that is still connected, a relationship that is still connected, but it is something that you've left behind. And now there is an ability to see why things turned out the way they did in order to avoid unnecessary destruction. Anything that has to do with you essentially giving energy or time or your resources to a place that was not needed, to a field that was not prepared to hold the seed, but it's grown into something, and it might be monstrous in your eyes. There's something about you that needs to find your own sense of peace of mind, and this is an admirable quality. At the same time, it's like running with scissors. Something of this has to do with self-criticism, the idea that you can cut out what you will whenever you will, but if something has grown to such a degree, it could be very difficult to do the garden work. Okay. Therefore, this symbolizes the chasing for ideals. This type of relationship brings forward the element of the quixotic, the idea that you can look in an ideal way for your own romances. The irony is that all romances are, by definition, fleeting, that they last only for so long, as in a period before harvest, or just a year after harvest. And this is not to bring anyone down in the Capricorn family. This is something that has to do with their need to find a way through a period of isolation, actions of isolation. What you're doing to them, what they're doing to you in terms of this has to do with trying to unify a different way of caring, a different way of empathy. I think Capricorn is more sort of reserved and content with their own path. There's something inner about what they're doing, and unfortunately what they have planted in the past has grown in such a way, and it's difficult to sort of mirror someone who is not on the path of self-realization. In one way of seeing it. At the same time, it's a matter of self-respect. I would call it that. Self-respect. So we have here a very interesting situation in which there is a connection that is not being tended to. My advice is to wait until the gateway opens. When the next moon cycle hits, there is an ability to see in full light the difference between one way of thinking and another. Okay. This will allow for a way to revisit and to understand raw and emotional content that has been suppressed in some sort of way. The emotions, the element of water, it fertilizes and nourishes the earth. And there's something about this that needs to be understood. One thing I can tell you about the enchanting energy of Capricorn is that they create the waves of karma and the sort of foundational shifts that create what I would call new lands on a primarily flooded plain. So take of that what you will. I do wish you well for the time being. I am signing out. Thank you. Bye-bye.